starter school. If you show some promise, you can move up to SCCA's national level of competition. And if you're good there, you can go right into the pro category and run pro with the exact same car. Look at the concentration on Warren Stillwell's face. Well, he is, as you said, one of the best ever, undefeated here in this class at Mid-Ohio. And earlier, John Bizignano spent a little time with Mr. Mid-Ohio.
Warren Stillwell's uniform actually kind of tells the history of his success. His arms aren't long enough to put all the SCCA National Championship patches on there that he's actually earned. Warren, congratulations on another great pole position here at Mid-Ohio.
Well, thanks a lot. It's a real competitive field out here. As usual, the runoffs bring all the best from everybody, and I just got the pole by a couple tenths maybe, and it's a good place to start the race.
6 national championships in this very competitive class, 3 pro championships in this very competitive class. These guys have to be crawling all over you. They want to beat Warren Stillwell.
Yeah, that's kind of a disadvantage, you know, with the consecutive streak I've got going. Everybody wants to beat me, and I'm just out here to have a good time, and really, I got to put that out of my mind and try to run a good, clean race, get some good lap times, and let it shake out where it will. But it's kind of tough to be the guy to beat out here.
Well, now last year it wasn't all that easy for you. A nice pole position, spun out though, as I remember it, but you fought your way back.
Yeah, we had some really bad conditions. It was raining last year, and I spun. I thought, well, the streak's over, you know. It's not such a bad thing to come in 3rd place, but I never gave up, and by the end of the race, one of the guys didn't quite know the rain line because he doesn't have the home track advantage like I might here, being close by. So I was able to make it up and get another win.
Well, let's talk about that. Mr. Mid-Ohio, the master of Mid-Ohio. This is a track where it's really hard to learn the last 5% of it. Your competitors say that you know 110% of it.
Well, I don't know about that, but it really is. I mean, none of the turns here at Mid-Ohio are real straightforward, and there's a lot of them. I think they call it a 15-turn track. They're very unique, and it takes a few years, I think, of competitive running at the runoffs to get where, you know, where you're up to speed and real comfortable with the track. With a circuit like this, though, and this many times, most of the top guys have run here. I think the home track advantage kind of is gone because we're all, you know, we've been here enough to know how to figure the place out.
Best of luck on your 7th consecutive championship.
Well, I'm going to go for it.
Go for it, he will. You know, really, he ought to be sponsored by Target because that's what the deal is on the back of that car. Big story developing, Biz. Keith Grant qualified 6th. Problems.
Well, he does have a problem. Right now you see him in the cockpit and there's some steam all around his helmet. They had a problem with the cap on the cooling fluid. There's fluid all underneath the car. Now they weren't able to top it off, but they changed the cap and they had some trouble getting the cap on. It's almost like the reservoir threads on the cap. There's a problem there. I still think there could be a problem. There's fluid still running out from underneath this car. He hasn't had any problems all weekend long, and now this right before the start.
Well, if there's any upside to this cold weather, he may be the one to benefit from it. At least those temperatures aren't way warm today, which could really be a problem for Keith Grant. Great to see he'll be able to take the start. Again, qualified 6th and a very quick driver indeed. When we come back, we'll bring you the starting grid for Spec Racer 4.
I like new things, especially when they get old.
Like keeping things around? Good news. Introducing Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. Max Life conditions use seals to help prevent leaks and helps keep your high mileage engine performing for a long time.
Son, another 100,000 miles and this baby will be yours.
Eight-time kart race winner. 38 top 5 finishes. Kart champion. Jimmy Vasser is one of the smartest drivers in all of racing. Ever wonder what he's thinking during a race?
Wall, bad. Finish line, good. Wall, bad.
There's a company that wants to approve you for a new Visa card. Whether it's Visa Classic to build or rebuild your credit, the prestige of Visa Gold with an even higher credit line, or the purchasing power of Visa Platinum, the only card you'll ever need. The company is Providian, one of the top issuers of Visa cards in the world with over 14 million customers. Whether it's Classic, Gold, or Platinum, call now and apply right over the phone. Providian will work hard to give you the card that's right for you. Visa from Providian. We approve.
Next Sunday, the world's best riders stretch the laws of gravity. First, Colin Edwards spins up some heat in Japan. Then will Kenny Roberts put another championship trophy on the family shelf? All the action heats up at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Speed Vision.
Today's live coverage on Speed Vision of the Valvoline Runoffs is being brought to you by Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines, and by new 104 Plus Octane Boost with Acceleron Power. Okay, Calvin, Mr. Smarty Pants, how about the snow line around Mid-Ohio?
Well, Dorsey and I were just discussing. I think you come out of 15, make a left through the paddock, and head straight to Bucks. What do you think, Dorsey?
Bucks Friendly Tavern. You can work out any of these races over a sit-down right there. I'll tell you what, guys. I said it before. In my 30 years, it's never snowed at the runoffs. It's snowing now.
It surely is. And with that, let's bring you our Valvoline Max Life Spec Racer Ford starting grid. As we mentioned, Warren Stillwell, although it wasn't the fastest time, even though Richard Spicer's time got thrown out, then Stillwell ended up on pole once again with Spicer alongside. Bobby Sack, young driver, doing a great job qualifying third, former champion James Goffrey, and fourth, former pro champion. Then T.J. Acker and Keith Grant, who's making it to the start on the third row. Fourth row, Lee Fleming. He won the sprints this year, very fast. And 07, Sandy Satullo. Then row number 5 is John Black and John Annis. Row number 6 is Kim Knapp, who was on the pole in E-Production, remember. And Damon Elardo, very fast driver. And then we'll take a look at the rest of the starting grid. And the concern is Jim Marinangel, a former champion when they called this class the Spec Racer category, pre-Ford days. And it's very, very, it's going to be very interesting, of course. They also run on a treaded or shaved tire. And there's Christopher Dyson, who, of course, we had Rob Dyson in earlier. He's got his work cut out for him and now on a track that I'm not sure he's real familiar with in these conditions.
Well, Rob, of course, I drove for Rob in his pro car, and he came to me and said, Chris wants to race. What should I do? I was working with Skip Barber Racing. I told him this class right here. I said, put him in these because he'll learn more. He'll get more miles of racing in this class than anywhere. I don't care where you qualify. He's qualified 28, but he'll be fighting for every position all day today.
But it's so competitive. I mean, the first 13 cars on the grid were covered by less than a second, so that really indicates how tight this field is here today. So qualifying about 20th is not such a bad deal.
So what do you think? While these guys were waiting, did they have enough time to maybe throw a little bit more depth of tread on the car in terms of tire, or are they going with what they had?
I think they go with what they had because, you know, it's funny with with the snow, that tread's not going to do much either. You know, it's going to
change is what needed.
Nobody knows. It's an unknown quantity. I think you're right. Change might be the way. But
it's changing all the time, Dorsey. I mean, this is the difficulty. It's not consistent. So every lap, you're refeeling the track, looking for the grip. It'll go from the dry line to the wet line. And there's the place to be, right by that fire right now.
And experience is going to play such a role here. And, of course, Warren Stillwell, one of the reasons he's so good on this track is he's from Hartville, Ohio. It's his home track. And he knows this track intimately, certainly, so it's going to be interesting to watch this race. But you always got to go with Stillwell here, particularly the worse the conditions, the more you think you've got to be with Stillwell. We're coming out of the keyhole, and we're looking for the green. And this first run down into the S's and Madness could be awfully interesting. There's the sky closing in, Dorsey, watching for it.
Well, how much grip is at the end of this straightaway? That's the question. We're about to find out the answer. It is green, and here they come in the grass already.
Two tires off, and here we go. Stillwell protecting way down low. That bright pink car, Goffrey, he's got a clean run. If he can get in a little bit deep, that's the actual rain line Calvin showed us.
Look at the green car. He's going further wide, but Goffrey should have good grip right there. Then we see the rest of the pack come through. That green car's going to sneak up the inside.
Oh, wide.
Stillwell's wide.
Goffrey ran wide as well and took a couple of cars out. We got a car in the wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unbelievable. That green car was Grant who made it through. There's 0-8. In a world of hurt. That's Joe Horvath, and there's 4 more cars, nowhere to go, and there's damage. Yeah, that's from Horvath's car, I think.
We got
that looks like coolant. Yeah,
that is coolant for sure. He's burst something in the back. It's got to be a hose.
79 up front. The first car in is Scott Goolsby.
Oh, there's 61.
Martinelli got in trouble there. He tried to push the car back, and the driver stuck it in reverse.
That's Chris Dyson, guys, right there.
Oh no, that's Trevor Hopwood right at the back. The blue car. There's Dyson.
Dyson underway. The 48 cars.
These guys need to be careful. Someone's going to get hurt here. The cars are in gear. They've got power, and the marshals are trying to push them around. We've got to be careful we don't hurt someone.
All right, they're just trying to fight and get that number 79 car. That's Goolsby backed out of the tires. And there you see the workers signaling to the cars coming through that they need them to stay to the inside, and Goolsby is going to continue. There's some damage to the back there. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here. There's the green car making a nice move. I'll watch. Yeah, right there. Oh, Goolsby got hit.
Yeah, now it's all stack up under braking, and that's all ice right now. All those cars just straight on. 1, 2, 3. Here's the 4th. That's Dyson. Here's the 5th one.
Well, the tyre can only do so many things. I mean, it can brake, it can turn, and when you try and brake and turn at the same time in these conditions, it's not going to work. And here you see Stillwell wide, and look at the green car running out wide, almost in the grass, and he is in the grass.
And then Sack spins. Sack spins. Look behind him now. Look back here. 37's around backwards. Here comes more cars. Everybody trying to get sorted out and slowed down. And the race is on.
Well, that's 27. That's John Frank, who skipped through the grass and back on. Pretty quick recovery by Sack, but he certainly lost some time. And there's the driver, the number 48 car. I believe that's Ott, Stephen Ott, and he's out. But look at the frustration on his face. That's not how you want your run to for a national championship, or at least an attempt to start off by any stretch.
Or you work all year long just to get here. It's an invitation only, and so you have to have done a good job, and then it's all over with before the first lap's even over.
And Jim Goffrey, who had a great start in that one, in that first replay, that hot pink car, he ran awfully wide up there on the top of the S's and almost went off as well. So it's interesting. We have completed one lap, but we are under a full chorus yellow right now. It's Stillwell leading, Goffrey in second at this stage, and in third is 17, John Black.
Speed Vision presents the Napa Auto Parts Automotive Tip of the Week. When treating paint imperfections or light scratches in your car's finish, first make careful notes of the areas to be treated so that they're not forgotten. For paint imperfections, use a light cutting compound or polish to remove them. If you're using an electric buffer, use the lowest speed possible. For light scratches, apply the polish by hand and wipe thoroughly in the direction of the scratch. Repeat this until the imperfection is gone.
Bob.
Claire.
Bob.
Claire.
Michael.
Michael. Huh?
Bob? Claire?
Want your own monster truck? You can win one during Napa's Monster Truck Giveaway, or win one of over 5,000 mini monster trucks. Plus, save on hundreds of items. Enter at a participating Napa Auto Parts store today.
Now hear this. You have entered the racing news and information superhighway. Speed Vision News Race Week, a weekly show that drives, rides, speeds, and soars to the ends of the earth to bring you highlights, analysis, and in-depth coverage by those experts who live it 24 hours a day. Get the inside line on Speed Vision News Race Week every week. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, where we continue to bring you live coverage of the Valvoline Runoffs here on Speed Vision. I'm Greg Kramer, along with Dorsey Schrader, Calvin Fish joining us in the booth. Down in the pit lane, John Bizignano and Sandy Hang doing extremely difficult duty down there in these temperatures, and a great job. And we are in the midst of the Spec Racer Ford race. We are under a full course caution due to a couple of incidents. We want to remind you there's lots of racing Speed Vision covers, and some of it the best in straight line drag racing. The NHRA AutoZone Nationals will be coming your way from Memphis, Tennessee. Tonight at 8 o'clock is qualifying. Tonight at 8 Eastern time, and then tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern time, eliminations begin. 9 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time, the finals. And that will be the NHRA AutoZone Nationals from Memphis, Tennessee, here on Speed Vision over the course of this weekend. And here's a look at some of the cars as we are under the full course yellow. And look at the weather that is moving in. As we talked about, we saw the snow falling earlier, temperature 45, wind chill, a very cold 28 degrees, track temperature dropping, snow flurries, the forecast, not just for tonight, but all the way through tomorrow. And it is just looking a bit nasty here at Mid-Ohio. And John Bizignano, of course, you've been talking about tires all day. That story is just going to get more and more vital.
Well, actually, I'll tell you, Greg, you were talking earlier about tires, and also that the tread on a tire will make the tire flex more, and that also affects handling. But these are a perfect set of intermediate or rain tires for Spec Racer Ford. Everyone I saw on the grid, they were on the tire that was more shaved down, more like a racing slick. These tires would be perfect, I think, to have out there right now, also because they are of a softer compound. BF Goodrich has two different compounds with these tires. tires. The ones that are shaved more like a slick, they are the harder compound. Yes, you would have a bit of tread movement with the intermediate or the rain tire, but they would be the softer compound that has got to help. Also appearing in the pits, the SCCA have started to give people ice scrapers for their cars tomorrow. This is something that the SCCA never thought that they were going to need, but they had a bunch of them on hand. They're being distributed. I'm going to go find some lip warmers for the rest of this race.
I'll never live that down. I apologize, but I'll tell you what, it is so cold out there. And that's a good point. We saw that that graphic, the track temperature now down underneath 40 degrees to 38. Any type of temperature you get in the tires, you're going to take right now. And
Jay Garcia?
Oh. I'm surprised though, Dorsey. Biz said that everyone was on the shaved tires. I'm surprised someone didn't gamble.
Yeah.
You're looking at those skies. I mean, someone like 8th, 10th on the grid, maybe thought they weren't a factor for the win in normal conditions. You'd have to gamble and, you know, go with the weather there.
The point about the softer compound is a paramount issue right there. The tread squirm is it's negligible on that tire anyway, because you saw how far it was shaved, probably 230 seconds. But the softer compound in this situation right here would be really a mega thing.
That's the key, is getting the tire up to temperature. And, you know, if we get, I mean, this could be a case where you keep getting these caution periods, the tires will never get up to temp. So it's going to be the smartest driver, the one who keeps a cool head and just, you know, potters around it, keeps the car on the island, may win the championship here today.
Another question for you guys. With that intermediate tire, it's a softer compound. It'll generate heat. If the track dries out, you know, while it's damp, you're getting good grip, but you're using the tire up. If it dries out a little bit and you wear the rubber off of that, it effectively becomes a soft compound dry tire. That should be fairly effective.
Well, I think the weather would take care of it. I think the fact that it's cool, you wouldn't overheat that tire, even though it is a soft compound tire.
Let's take a look at our final day, the third day of the Valvoline Runoffs, coming at you live tomorrow. And we move everything up by a half hour tomorrow, folks. We're on the air at 1 o'clock Eastern Time as opposed to 1:30. That's the Formula Continental race, and then GT2, G Production, GT1, and Formula Atlantic are the 5 classes that we will be bringing to you live tomorrow as we wrap up the 24 classes of competition in the search for the national champions. So keep that in mind. And I guess we are on at 1:30 tomorrow. We're on at 1:30. My mistake. I thought the schedule moved up, so it's 1:30. Those are the races you will see tomorrow on Speed Vision as we wrap up our live coverage. And it looks like we're wrapping up our yellow flag and going green. There it is. We're back to it as we are working lap 4 of 20 here at Mid-Ohio. And look at Godfrey, Stillwell all by himself, getting no help, and everybody going. That's Grant. Grant locking up, trying to find it and thread the needle. Ooh, difficult stuff. Look at Godfrey and see if he can make it work. And no, Stillwell into the lead. Boy, Grant had a run, didn't he?
Look how slow they have to go. That's how slippery it is, folks, up on top of that corner right there. Look now, down the inside. Good pass.
Nice move by Grant. And look at Bobby Sack, even with that spin, he's still in 7th spot.
Well, he's one of the guys that got back going quickest after that spin. He didn't stall the motor. He kept it running and put it in gear, got out of there. Look at him sliding, Cal.
Yeah, really, as soon as you saw Godfrey there on the concrete patch, and he was sliding around. See most of the guys now going way wide. Look at these two guys fighting out, duking it out through 11. Good stuff there.
That was Don Sack. Oh, a spin right there. We got a spin up on top of the hill.
It's pointed around in the right direction. He should be okay if he doesn't damage it getting it back on, but people are really being pretty tentative here, as they have to be.
So dicey. That's such a fast section of track. And boy, Godfrey driving that rain line to perfection there, Cal.
We should say, actually, to the people watching at home, that this you can't have this, and you can't think like it's a street car. When we talk about being slippery, it's not the snow or the ice that's slippery. It's the racetrack itself, because it's raced on all the time. It's so polished that this rain on top of there, it's just like driving in ice.
That was a pass right there. Sack has moved up into the top 5, went around 07, Sandy Satulo there. So Bobby Sack coming on strong after that early spin and has quickly moved back into the top 5. There he is, and up front of him is number 17. That's John Black, qualified 9th, currently running 4th out of Olympic Valley, California, 2nd in the Central Division.
I don't even want to tell you how far Stillwell is in the lead already, but he's just checking out of this field right away, just the way you would want it to be.
Was it last year he spun, I think, 2 or 3 times in the and it was atrocious conditions. Still came back to win it. So.
See the speed there of the car. That's a great example there of the rain line. He ran the rim shot around the outside, got great speed, and look at that shot. That's how Donovan make a nice Christmas card.
Wouldn't it though? Oh, look at this. There's a big move. That's 25. And Jim Shaman, and going up and around the outside is number 88, John Collier.
And now watch the brake zone, because every lap, as you said, Calvin, is different. The conditions are changing each time you go through there.
Well, the braking there is extremely difficult, though, so you're going downhill, and if you're on the dry line, the tires start to lock up, and you just can't get the car slowed down. So ideally what you want to do, as we did on that demo lap, is just slide it a little bit to the inside of the dry line, even under braking.
There it shows right there. Line. Look at that. 65 gives a big jump right there, and that's all because he could put power to the ground.
Yeah, he just swept right around the orange machine there and moved up. 27. Whoa!
Curb
saved him. Yeah.
Sure enough did.
But again, number 65 through 11 using the rain line. Donovan got a good run out of there. Now he's taking a run at Collier. Big wiggle from Collier. Boy, it is so slick out there.
This will be trouble.
Yeah, see if he gets it rolled down a little bit. He does.
Yeah, because I tell you, slide up the inside, you're going to scale across that concrete, and it'll be tough to hold the car on line when you do things like that. You got to be really careful.
That's 25 Shaman right there we're working with. And, hey, Biz, we've been talking about how slippery it is out on the track.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I mean, I hate to show you my feet, but it's almost like there has been a layer of ice formed by this moisture. This foot is just absolutely like as if I'm walking on ice. I mean, you can even do something like that with no problem whatsoever. It's got to be the slickest these guys have ever been out there.
Hey, Biz, did your leg get that way after you hit the tree?
Actually, I was born this way with a very natural heel and toe, guys. Yeah, I wish my lift worked as good as my club foot does.
27 has had an accident out there. That's John Frank, and he is the guy in the tire barrier.
He was right in the middle of that good battle we were watching, watching the display of rain prowess by Dave Donovan. And Frank, he drove a rain line up through the top of 8, made up a lot of ground, but then it got away from him. And now we're watching a good battle. This is the battle for 6. Number 56 coming down the inside is Richard Spicer. Remember now, he qualified second. He was involved in one of those early first lap incidents, dropped way back. He is trying to fight his way back into this one. He's up to 7, and that's Sandy Satullo right in front.
With white wall tires, which you don't see very often. But sure enough, if you look at that car, it's got white walls on it.
Now it's tough. You're getting into conditions where it's changing lap to lap. Should you be on the wet line? Should you be on the dry line? And ideally, you want to at least get the loaded tire just outside that concrete course. And the blacktop definitely has more grip in the rain. And these boys are just searching for it. Everyone's doing it a little bit different. I mean, I think they'll have every inch of the racetrack covered by the end of this one.
Well, like you said, you've got to find some grip out there, and if it changes like that, you got to adjust. You got to be able to adapt just a little bit here, and that's where we sit. We're now 5 laps into the 20, but remember, there is also a 40-minute time limit on this, and this just might be what happened, and that is what happened to number 27, Frank.
So, you have a teenager, which means you already know they're always on the phone. You just don't have any idea what they're talking about, and that may be a good thing. Media One Local Phone Service offers you sanity in the form of discounted second lines, so you can talk to your peeps. That means friends. Call now and receive free installation and 1 free month of local phone service. Media One. This is broadband. This is the way.
Where do all those dollars go that people give to the United Way? Do they go into a big pot someplace? To get sent off to who knows where? Nope. Those dollars come right back home and work their little denominations to the bone. Not just for all of our neighbors who need help today, but for all of us who might need it tomorrow. The United Way. It's what we do together.
Now, smooth 70s. 34 easy listening classics from TV music for you.
Sunshine, go away today. I don't feel much like dancing. Baby, baby, don't get hooked on me. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. But I keep on thinking about you, sister, golden hair surprise. Could it be I'm falling in love with you, baby?
Choice on 2 cassettes or 2 CDs. Here's how to order. Call toll-free now for Smooth 70s. 2 cassettes $19.98, 2 CDs $26.98 plus $5.50 shipping. Have your credit card ready and call now.
Welcome back once again to Mid-Ohio as we have now completed 7 laps, working lap 8. And there is Jim Goffrey. And there's a junior there. His father's racing here this weekend as well. But I'll tell you what, Sandy, he is having a stellar run. Lonely, but a very comfortable second.
Well, you see that bright pink car. His theory behind all this is you're never going to get noticed unless you can get noticed. So that's one of the things he's got going. Now, don't mistake his address, Palm Beach Gardens, for his experience or lack of experience with snow. He's a second-generation racer from Pennsylvania. He does like the cold weather. The only thing the team is a little bit frustrated about is they've got, like most of the teams, a dry setup. They did not get time to change right before the race, so he's dealing with that at this point. That's Jimmy Goffrey.
All right, thanks, Sandy. And here's a big move. That's Bobby Sack, number 19. And if he makes the pass, that's for third spot. That's the medal. If this battle continues for that position, that's for the bronze. And Sack executes it, and he is now up into third. And I'll tell you what, Jim Goffrey, he's got the right idea with getting noticed, but he's a former pro champion too, Cal.
Well, we laugh about his car being pink, but I know some race drivers, out in center, in fact, and we see him. Sack is back under pressure there. He's going to lose that position once again to the 40 car. Grant, he's doing a great job. Bobby gets the speed through turn 10 and gets into turn 11 first. But a lot of the drivers wanted the other drivers to see him coming. Senna was one. He wanted to see that yellow helmet in your rear view mirror so you'd move out of the way. It's an intimidation factor. Schumacher does the same thing. He changed his helmet color so it looked too much like Barrichello's, and he didn't want the guys to think it was Barrichello coming up behind.
So getting noticed front and back. Basically, you want to make sure that you're very visible on the track.
Bobby Sack right now running on the dry line again. Cal, you just said I think it'd be time to move back to a dry line, get off the wet line. He made that pass on the dry line, and the grip looks okay there right now.
Yeah, I think it's changing, Dorsey. There's such a fine line. Within 2 or 3 laps, it will literally go from wet to dry once we see the precipitation has stopped. So these guys will be going back to the dry line, and when it starts to dry out, we should see some good lap times. We've seen, track records this afternoon. I mean, earlier in the day, we saw some guys in the SSB category really flying around here. SSC actually really flying around here in cold conditions. So the track is good as long as it's dry.
And of course, that cold air, Greg, makes these engines real happy engines. There ain't a lot of horsepower.
And right there, Grant has got to be, again, very happy with that, the amount of coolant for starters in that engine and how well it's working. A little bit suspect, so these cool temperatures have to be a little bit comfortable. These parts we've talked about at Grant's Army. There's a whole bunch of Grants from the Tennessee area here, nieces, nephews, fathers, sons that are racing, and they do love it there, and they put on a great show, and they love SCCA Club racing. And Grant having a good run, but right now it just doesn't have an answer for young Bobby Sack.
I don't think the overheating will be a problem for him. You saw that tank at the beginning where the cap was loose. That cap or that tank, it puts water in. It also takes overflow out. So I don't think that'd be a problem as long as we're going to have a problem right here.
So big battle for 7th, and that's the number 23 car has moved up into that. Damon Alardo. And so you saw Sandy Satullo try and take a move into 8, and Alardo having none of that, shut the door. And Satullo went agricultural for a minute there.
But they bumped, and they stayed touching there for a while. I thought it was going to cause a spin, but finally they broke apart.
That's Damon Alardo, and he's had a great season.
Oh, trouble. Whoops. Slips right there. Gets to the outside. He's going to get overtaken. Yeah. It's a good save. He didn't lock up the brakes. He almost went off, though.
Champion of the Midwest Division, by the way. Cal, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he just lost a lot of momentum, Dorsey, going through there, and ultimately allowed the pass.
So that'll promote Satullo back up into 6th. That's the second time they've passed each other in this lap alone. They are having a great race, and of course they're feeling some pretty serious heat from number 56, qualified 2nd, Richard Spicer in the blue machine. And right behind him, now comes number 31, I believe. That's Jeff Beck. Wow, he's wired.
Jeff Beck, very funny, very funny. Jeff Beck, longtime competitor, has run out of the Midwest Division for many, many years and driven many different types of car. Went into this car about 4 or 5 years ago, likes it.
Yeah, he's had some good drives, and he's a little bit back there. You can see number 65, Dave Donovan's the last car in this train, and behind him is Beck. But Satullo, boys, look at this. Oh, nice move by Donovan as he went down the inside of Spicer. Spicer just running the rim shot here. We'll see. Dry or wet. Looks like it's really a horse apiece right now, Cal.
Look at it from that 63, though. It's stove in there from contact, and that's going to start some overheating going on. Luckily, it's a very cold day. It might be a saving grace. Oh, the 23 got in the back 07 and almost caused a big wreck in the straightaway.
Saw some smoke there coming out of the back of the 07. I don't think it's brake smoke. It was before he got on the brake, so he may have been tagged and actually caused some damage to the back of the car. But what's happening now? You're seeing guys on dry and wet lines. You see smoke there again as they go through the S's. It really opens up the door. If someone's running that wet line doors, they can really widen. The other guy's just thinking, I'm coming through. And it really gets interesting.
It gets a bit confusing. You don't know where the guys are going to go when they're moving the race car all over the racetrack from side to side, you know, and you get those little skirmishes. Now, those two definitely made contact.
There's Donovan's move here. He might get two.
Oh, he's going to do it again. They hit again. Now, that time it knocked all the momentum out of that car.
And yeah, and it also hurt Alardo, and here comes Spicer. Now Alardo will have the inside line for this next bend here, but Spicer trying to take advantage of that contact, and Satullo finally gets a little bit of a break, runs out of the Northeast Ohio region here, runs wide, but that's a line that's working right now. There's Alardo, 23, 56 Spicer, 65 Donovan.
Something come loose there on Satullo's car. He got tagged at some point. A little piece of bodywork came flying off as he went through the keyhole, but the car looks in pretty good shape.
Well, I think if you look at the back of the right rear corner, that was where there was a piece of damage that was rubbing the tire, and I think it finally just got rid of it. Let's watch this right here. Boom.
Oh, that's a pretty hard hit right there, and that's in the straightaway, boys. If that would have been a big accident if that car turned around. That was just a misjudge back on the 23.
Yeah, it really was. You know that the guy's going to come over on the dogleg there and kind of pinch off a little bit, so you got to be careful there. You need to make the pass before. Bravo, he's wedging his way through there.
On the curb.
Beautiful.
That's Spicer, and he wants to get in front of Alardo here. And look at Donovan right there. Donovan trying to help push Spicer by, take advantage of it, working the draft.
Watch the inside.
Donovan goes for it. 3 abreast.
Well, he can make it forward. Come on, get up in there.
Oh, there goes Spicer, but look at Satullo fighting back.
Bang, there we go again. These guys, I tell you what, the cars are really solid on their sides. You're going to hit side hit a lot, and these guys are not afraid to throw the elbows out.
Boy, it took 3 corners, but 56 Spicer made the pass and is now moved up and into the 7th spot. Satullo in front, and Donovan followed him through, and suddenly Alardo has been shuffled back a couple of spots. There's your leader, Warren Stillwell. Past halfway now, completed lap 11 of 20, but boy, Godfrey is starting to close it up.
Well, maybe Warren gambled a little bit with the wet setup and it's now drying out nicely, and Godfrey may have the better car in the dry conditions. You see Warren still running the rim shot. I think it's time to get back on the dry line, even through the keyhole. That's where we've seen the most water this afternoon, but it's time to get back on the dry line. Maybe Warren has not gone back there, and that's why Godfrey's catching him.
Now remember, this man, undefeated, won here in both pro races and amateurs, never been beaten, and he might just be being bored and saying, hey, come on, somebody come up here and help me.
That was tight there. You saw Donovan try and get down in the inside for turn 1 and got the door closed on him thoroughly. Lost a lot of speed there.
Spicer did get around 07 Satullo, so Spicer now has come back to 6th. Satullo 7th and 23, Alardo 8th, then Donovan 9th. And boy, Jeff Beck, who had moved up into 10th briefly, has now slipped back a couple of spots into 12th. That's an amazing streak for Stillwell. Undefeated 10 races here in either pro or national amateur championship competition where the Spec Racer Force has never lost.
And it wouldn't surprise me for Warren to back off the pace and say, hey, you know, look, I got this thing wired. You know, I'll back off and let Godfrey come up here.
And he's smart, though. He'll recognize, I mean, if he sees Godfrey closing, I mean, it won't take him long to realize, hey, I need to change the line, get back on the dry line, and get down to some decent lap times.
Well, that last lap doesn't look like Godfrey made anything up, so maybe Stillwell just backed off. Maybe, yeah, those tires, if he did start on the intermediates and he's driven real hard opening laps, maybe he wanted to back off a little bit, let him cool down a titch.
Well, both these guys have done battle before in the Pro Series, so they're well aware of each other's abilities.
Traffic up there in the keyhole now for Stillwell. Gets around it nicely, gets through the first guy, and he's got to get the other one before he gets on at the back straightaway. Bobby Sachs having a good run still, and he now heads up to the keyhole.
Yeah, Bobby running in what would be a medal position right now, and somebody we're very familiar with from another series as a proud dad down in the pits with Sandy.
Well, look who we found in the stands with his camcorder, Don Sack. What do you think of the race? He slipped back, and then he's back up there now, your son.
It's too cold to race. No, Bobby had a good start, but then something happened, and he got shuffled back from 3rd to 9th, and now he's fought his way back up into 3rd place, and as soon as this race is over, I'll be satisfied.
Well, what do you think of the race so far? You're taking some shots with your camcorder. What are you going to do when you do a critique later?
I think the race is great. I mean, it's been shuffled around. Everybody's trying to chase down Warren, and Warren's just doing what Warren does.
What kind of advice did you give to Bobby before the race?
I just told him to have a good time. He doesn't need my advice.
There's from Don Sack. Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Sandy, thank you. Now, there's a question I was going to ask you guys, Dorsey. These cars, it's open cockpit, and because of the design to really fit any body shape or whatever, it's a big open cockpit. The prod cars even more so. When it's 40 degrees out there and you're running at 120, 150 miles an hour, what does it do physically to the driver in terms of temperature?
Well, these guys, their necks get cold. They're not wearing a balaclava, you can see right underneath their neck. It's exposed, so it gets cold.
All right, as you can see, there's our leader, Warren Stillwell, but Goffrey still coming in. We'll be back for the finish.
Put the food down, walk away, nobody gets hurt. Let's get him!
Think you're tough enough to drive a Tacoma? Join the club. Introducing the double cab with over 5 feet of bed length.
You just can't mess with a man's salad.
Word up.
You started saving for your kids' college education before they were born. Your wife still thinks of you as her knight in shining armor. And the neighbors know your door is always open. So it comes as no surprise that your auto parts are AC Delco. When the right way is the only way. AC Delco Automotive Parts.
On the last Sunday in October, there will be a final showdown between the world's fastest racers at the world's fastest speedway. The 500, presented by Toyota at California Speedway. Don't just watch the race, live the race. Call 1-800-944-RACE for tickets.
Brace yourself for the dawn of the undead as the Lost Drive-In goes ghoulish in October.
Something's wrong here.
Every Saturday night, try to live through one petrifying Lost Drive-In after another as Speed Vision carries you off to the dark side.
Looks like a nightmare factory. What the hell's going on around here anyway?
There's no place to run. There's no place to hide.
No, I promise you I won't go out.
So grab a friend and get ready to scream. Tonight, Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town, 11 Eastern, 10 Pacific.
We'd like to remind you the U.S. Open of Supercross will be coming your way on Speed Vision from Las Vegas, Nevada. The opening round, round 1, is October 14th. That'll be live at 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Live, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, October 14th. Round 2 will be coming at you at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on October 17th. That's the U.S. Open of Supercross from Las Vegas, Nevada, coming your way on Speed Vision.
Oh, lap cars now.
Yep, Stillwell, this could be the one moment that he's been dreading because Goffrey's not that far back. And Stillwell needs a little help. He needs to get a break here to get through. There's one.
That's not the place to encounter traffic up through there because the guys are so focused on what they're doing, they're not going to see it. They're switching backwards and forwards, so you're not in their mirrors consistently.
Plus, they're racing for position.
He did not get that pass made.
No, he did not.
He didn't get it made. I thought it was going through. 3 seconds behind the leader, Goffrey, at the last split, but that's going to close. Look at this.
He had to force his way through there on the carousel.
Now Goffrey's going to have to deal with this guy, and he may catch him and get held up in 1.
No, he won't. Actually, it's easier to be the second guy right now because once the first guy has startled him, look, he gives him a wave by, so he goes by easy.
That pink car helps as well.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. 5 to go for Stillwell, but Goffrey Well, you get that close and you get a little break like that, sometimes you can find a little extra half second here and there.
Sure you can, but, you know, when you're that far back, you couldn't even see him before, and all of a sudden you get this break and hand it to you, and now you're within 6 car lengths. National championship, you can make wonders out of it.
Calvin, look at this. As you called it, he's right back on the dry line now and working to get as much power down and get going as quick as possible.
Looking in the mirrors there, Greg, as he came off the keyhole, he can see that pink car. He's looking at the gap there. Look at him looking. He knows that he's got a different race now to what he had about 3 laps ago. He is now under pressure from Jim Goffrey. And he can't afford to encounter any more traffic because that gap will be gone in an instant.
Down into the S's here, and there's the margin. Boy, that is now down to probably a second. So that bout with traffic really cost Stillwell basically 2/3 of the gap he had.
Goffrey is really driving well right now. He's really being aggressive. You see Warren looking in the mirror. He knows he's in a little bit of trouble now.
Through Madness, up through 11, there's a big pack of traffic up in front that they're going to be heading toward here. And with about 4 laps to go next time by, they're most definitely going to get into that traffic.
Look at Warren's line there through the fast left-hander. He actually gets on the rumble strips on the outside. Some drivers like to do that. I don't. I mean, my eyesight is not the best anyway, and when you get on those rumble strips, it really unsettles the car there. Widens the entry, certainly gives you a better radius through the turn, but some cars are good on it. If there's softer suspension car, it will work quite well.
Those cars that you were talking about, Greg, are going to be encountered about the keyhole, and you don't want to be held up there either, but I think Warren's going to catch him. He's going to catch him in a kind of an awkward area.
Well, he got hurt by traffic earlier. I'm sure he's hoping that maybe it'll help at some point as well, give him a little bit of a gap, but well, it looks like he might catch them. Well, worse still, catch him in the 7 and the S's, and then he's bottled up there again.
As you mentioned, Dorsey, it's so much easier for the second place runner because the door has been opened and then the traffic is looking for someone else. But when you're the first man through, they haven't seen any traffic. They're looking for the blue flags, which means there's faster traffic behind. But if they're not being displayed, they're in their own race.
And we got a yellow right there, Cal, because we don't know what the incident is yet, but there's a standing yellow right there. There's a car pulled over.
Yeah, that's station 5, but that car's in a safe spot. I would think it'd be something a little bit deeper in here. But the other thing is that in spots offline, it's probably still pretty slick too. So you come up to lap traffic, they're in their own battle to go offline to pass them. I mean, that can, one, cost you big momentum, and worse still, you know, mess you up big time in terms of potential incidents. So, boy, if he times this right though, he might catch them coming out of the carousel and get by 1 or 2, or even in at the exit of 1. Well, he needs it. Goffrey, of course, is just going, come on, bottle him up, make Warren's life miserable here.
He's praying right now.
He's thinking, why didn't I go through the paddock with a lot of 20s?
I tell you, having driven these cars for many years, it's you sit back there in Goffrey's situation and you do everything you can, but you've got an identical car that you're trying to chase down, and the segments come in inches. You know, it just takes forever. It might take an inch a lap. You're doing everything you can.
3 laps to go. 3 to go for Stillwell. Pursuit of national championship consecutive number 7, which would put him all alone in 2nd place all time. Of course, Jerry Hansen has the most consecutive national championships.
I think they're going to catch him this time in the S's, Greg. I don't see it as if Stillwell's going to be close enough to get him down the back straightaway. But when they get through the technical section, the twisty stuff through the S's, through Madness, that's where they're going to catch the traffic.
And what could kill him too is if there's any kind of an incident down in that yellow flag. I mean, if Stillwell can't get by him before he gets there, he's got to park behind him.
Very good point.
Till they get through that. We had that yellow. Light is, I can't tell if it's on or not.
Well, right here you see Warren has caught them all in a kind of there's a yellow flag, so he cannot pass them.
But there's the car, so now he can.
There's 3 cars crashed there.
Yeah, now he can get by them. He's saying, oh, when he gets one there, that'll help. Because Goffrey's going to get bottled up behind them. And this is where Warren is relying implicitly on the blue flaggers and the corner workers to pass the message. Goffrey gets hung up just a little bit there, it'll help. And that guy lets Warren through. Boy, there's the gift. That helps.
Well, you got to be aggressive in traffic now. There's not enough laps to get stuck, so you just do what you got to do.
And of course, Sandy, right now, Jim Goffrey is looking for anything he can get.
He's looking for any advantage, and I'm down here with this crew chief, Bill Wood, from Florida. You've got the Army jacket going. You've got about 3 or 4 layers, but you say, you know, you can beat Warren when you're in Florida, but you come up here and Stillwell gets you.
That's the advantage of the hometown track.
Is there any possibility you could get close enough to Warren to give it a run?
2 laps, Jimmy.
Now, you've got that frown.
It's hard to say, maybe.
You've just got that poker look like it isn't going to happen.
You know, I'm supposed to say something about the spec racer, what is it, speed calm, red line oil spec racer thing?
Yeah, you're supposed to say all that stuff. Yeah, but do you think you can get around Warren? You know Jimmy wants it badly.
If the slower traffic holds Warren up, maybe we can get by.
Maybe. Okay, that's Bill Wood. Yeah, you know, guys. Not looking good.
Well, that's what we've been talking about. The traffic is the one hope that Goffrey has. That or a mistake from Warren Stillwell? Doubtful. But here we go now. Look at this. He can't go by. Oh, the yellow's been pulled, so he can. He can go by. Now, is Goffrey going to be able to do anything, or is he going to get bottled up? He's going to get bottled up.
He's got to go for it here. He's going to slide down the inside, I'm sure. He does that, and the gap is closing. This is going to be interesting.
Very interesting, and there's still some traffic in front. It's a ways out there yet, but who knows if they get into it again. Boy, look at this. It is down now to less than 5 car lengths here with a lap and a half to go. There's one more lap car up there, which could play a huge role in this. Through Thunder Valley, the approach now up into the carousel. About, again, 4 to 5 car lengths is all it is. About a second on the track. Warren protecting the inside a little bit there to make sure. Here he comes, swings wide. Coming up, white flag, white flag.
No white flag. We did not get a white flag from the start finish.
Actually, there may be. They normally hold a white flag with a number 1 on it in front of that bridge, so you can't actually see it from this angle, I believe.
Yeah, club racing doesn't display a white, as you said. It's just a board that says 1 to go with a white flag on it. So this is it. And again, we are looking at potential history. Jerry Hansen holds the record for consecutive wins in the class, but Warren Stillwell, if he wins this race, his 7th, he may have just got
Goffrey
Goffrey pushing bad, not loose. Oh, that cost him 3-4 car lengths. That could have been it right there.
Costly mistake. He got a little squirrely there, tried to get in deep under braking with the keel, lost a little bit there, tried to jump back on the power and got a little squirrely coming off, Greg, as you saw.
So as I said, if Stillwell can win, he will be all alone with the second most consecutive wins in a class in terms of the SCCA Runoffs record. But no mean feat, certainly. What a great achievement it'll be. But boy, Goffrey's reined some of that margin back in again here, and there is that car.
Goffrey's got nothing to lose. I mean, he's got to throw it all to the wind right now and see if he can't run him down. He's obviously turning a better lap time. Unfortunately, I think he's too far back without a mistake by Warren, which, like you said, is not...
Oh, we got 3 cars again off. One of them's number 40, Grant, and Sack. And 17 is Black. That was our battle for 3rd, and Black will recover first. Meanwhile, Stillwell up into the carousel. There is a lap car in front, but there's some room. There's some room. Oh, boy, here comes Goffrey. I think Stillwell wanted to make sure he timed it so he didn't catch the guy and lose all his momentum. Here he comes. Will he do it? Yes! 7 in a row. 13 in a row. Excuse me, 11 in a row if you include the pros. And he now owns 2nd place all-time in Runoffs history for consecutive wins in a class. Maestro, Mid-Ohio, indeed.
And Goffrey, really good job today. I mean, to come back from where he did, run Stillwell down, and he really gave a good showing for himself.
And Stillwell used every ounce of his experience around. He was so patient in traffic. I mean, it was one of his best wins, I believe, Greg.
And there's number 17, John Black, recovered first from that 3-car carambolage down in turn 7 in the S's. And he's the one who recovered first. He's the one who wins it. And here comes Sack. And Sack kind of goes up and goes, what happened there? Sack was in 3rd, remember? Well, let's find out. Here's the replay.
Here's what happened, all right, down into the brake zone right now. You see Sack in the lead, but the 40 up on the inside. I think what you're going to find is that they get together right here. Yep, there's the hit. And that turns both cars sideways. 17 evasive, trying to go around the outside, but they're going to hook back in front of him and drive him right off into the grass.
He's still going in the right direction, but now he gets turned around completely sideways, escapes the gravel trap barely.
Gravel trap helped him, straighten him out. He was able
but now he's on the throttle too hard. He's trying to spin it. Now it's a drag race. There. It's a drag race to get back to the track for 3rd place.
Unbelievable, and the medal as a result ends up going to number 17. Unbelievable, John Black. 2nd, of course, to Goffrey, but Warren Stillwell, the hero here at Mid-Ohio of so many, the home track, but an awful lot of talent behind the wheel, and Warren Stillwell has done it again.
Fragrance of the Gillette series.
On American American Thunder at 7 Eastern, High Rod TV at 7:30, and Lost Drive-In at 11.
Bobby didn't get the medal, but still a great drive. Speaking of a great drive, Richard Spicer qualified second, dropped well out of the top 10 in that incident, back up to fifth. Sandy Satullo, Damon Alardo, they were in a war all race long, and then James Shaman, John Collier, and Jeff Beck. Boy, he came back up into the top 10. So a great drive by all. Stillwell's the champion, but still in all, Sandy, you've got a couple of happy medal winners down there.
Some very happy medal winners. Jimmy Goffrey in that hot pink car. Looked like you might be able to get Warren, and then you just wasn't enough.
Well, we were fast in different parts of the racetrack where Warren was, and unfortunately, he was getting a lot of the grip coming out of the keyhole, and I couldn't get anywhere close to him down that back straightaway, so there was no way. But for the most part, DuckSmart.com, Speedcom Communications, Redline Oil Spec Racer ran great all week, and just got a little bit back in qualifying, and had to work our way to the front. But those first few laps were unbelievable.
They were tremendous. Congratulations, and we've got to talk to John Black, grabbing a podium finish right there at the end. Did you see that happen in front of you with Bobby Sack?
Yeah, you know, I didn't realize that was going to happen. We got in there 3 wide, 2 deep, and I really didn't think it was going to work out. And I tried to go for the grass and still got caught, but I got lucky and got out of it first, I guess. So that's the way it goes sometimes.
And it was just enough to grab a podium finish. That's John Black, your third place finisher here today.
Well, you know, you got to take advantage of opportunity, and when Bobby and number 40 Grant got together, that was the opportunity that Black wanted, and he took it. Remember, Speed Vision News Race Week. You can find out how every racing series Max Life. It's the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. It's also been brought to you by Toyota. More choices, better selection. Experience Toyota today. Well, there is a great shot, pretty much descriptive of the weather we've had. At times beautiful, always cold, but at times beautiful, and at times absolutely devastating. But one thing that was absolutely perfect today was Warren Stillwell, Biz.
Warren, I got to ask you, how does it feel to win 7 consecutive SCCA championships in a row?
Well, it's kind of hard to think about right now. It's a lot of work out there. I'm dead beat. I mean, you know, all kinds of changing conditions out there. It was a really wild race.
What about those first few laps?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, I think there was hail out there, and it was much slipperier than rain, I thought. And, you know, you tried to get a good advantage and take advantage of every second you could gain, because halfway through the race, and Jim starts driving some really good laps and close that gap right back up.
Okay, again, your success. You have had more victories than anyone else except one other person when it comes to national championships. You are number 2 on the all-time victory championship trail. Where does the success come from?
I don't know. I mean, I think I really like Mid-Ohio. It's a great place to race and everything. I don't know. It's just a circuit that I warm up to once the streak gets rolling, I guess. It's a good positive mindset when you come back every time.
Congratulations on 7 championships in a row.
Yeah! He loves the vibe here at Mid-Ohio, I think was what he was saying. And boy, when he gets here, he is in a zone. It is absolutely stellar stuff. I mean, and it was interesting. He said he was dead beat, and yet he was never sideways. That's how hard it takes to drive perfection, very, very, you know, tight lines.
But those conditions, Greg.
The airplane had taken off at Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth.